So there's something interesting about Tom Clancy's The Division as what I call the quintessential RPG shooter. Now, it is a looter shooter, but the quintessential RPG nature of what I'm pointing to involves the gear of the player. This is where the player has the opportunity to pick and choose very carefully within a set number of archetypes and even all kinds of different additions that you can go with. For example, if you look at this build that I have on the screen, we're looking at Wyvern, Eclipse Protocol, the Vow Mask, we're looking at the Scorpio weapon, and just some random weapon that I have as my secondary weapon because I didn't really necessarily care about it. Just, hey, if I run out of bullets in the Scorpio and I'm in a bind, I'm just going to use this rifle, which the developers nerfed from day something of the game and have never bothered to look back. But let's just forget that and put that aside. It pretty much, leans towards the possibility that this one build that is centered around the Eclipse Protocol gear set can be run in different flavors based on what it is that the player would like to achieve, based on what it is that the player would also like to achieve for their team. So this particular nature of the build is what I deem the quintessential nature of, the RPG side of things. Now, yes, this is one of my, extra characters that I play on another account on PC. So yes, the shade level is like 174 in this video. I think it's gone up to like maybe 200 now because, it's you got to focus on your one character, and someone should have told me. Anyways, Eclipse Protocol is a build that I use because I like the status effect and I like the burn damage. So I run it with the Chem Launcher Firestarter, and I'll even run it with the Stinger Hive. I also will go with the Scorpio because status effects are basically the entirety of, my run in this, particular build. And I use the Vow Mask. I ensure that the Eclipse Protocol backpack and chest piece are also a thing. The switchable items are the holster and the knee pads. And in this build, I'm using Wyvern because that's what I could get my hands on that gave me the extra 6th skill tier. Usually, I would run a Golan set to gain more status effect. Very difficult to find a good Golan set that's going to give you status effect on, the roll on there. But again, if you can find one, then you can convert, the stamina piece to the skill tier so that you can get your skill tiers. And I know I've had, some conversations with people talking about why I run survivalist compared to, the other options out there like Firestarter and, the other specialization that really does help your skill tier. But I do this for the group play. And so now that I just mentioned this build, you've heard me actually basically mix and match it in 4 different ways. Now, these 4 ways are not even exclusive. There are many other ways that you can go. And in these particular paradigms, being able to go ahead and say, okay, I'm running this build because I believe my teammates are doing this. Like, if you look on the bottom right corner of my screen, I have my teammates, builds exposed. I can see what, skills they're running. And in my mind, I can kind of make a little, guess and say, okay, this person is probably running a turret and a drone build. If you notice the person that's right up there, they're Peanut, they're running basically a turret and a drone build. And I can basically, complement accordingly. I can tweak my build. I can do some really interesting stuff, with that. I can look and see if somebody's running like, a shield and maybe a revive hive. You can tell they're running a DPS build. Sometimes there are just some things that you can tell from looking at the game. But these, in my opinion, is what I think really makes the game stand out. I've heard Destiny players, even from other, videos that I've made in the past say that this game really does encourage that min-maxing life like crazy. You're able to pretty much pick stats. You're able to pretty much make some mixes that, are really cool. Now, keep in mind, though, that this is not to say that the build diversity is a huge pool, and all builds in this huge pool of builds are effective. No, we are aware that, there are some builds that are now meta and have stayed meta for the longest time and don't seem to be making a move. And I think at first it didn't make a lot of sense that we didn't have as much diversity in say what we could do and how we could use them. But I think this game is really very cut and dry in its, in its core basis. Like everything about it has basically been set to, center around specific things. There are your basic skill builds, and then there are your basic gun builds that all basically, kind of lean together depending on what it is that you want to achieve. Like in today's Division era, we are talking striker. If you want to play something like, say, the incursion, that's where your damage is going to be. But if you want to play the raid, you're going to be looking mostly, if you want to play DPS, at a red build. So, which both of them still gives you, damage parameters that are cool. However, you'll realize that this is just one of those things where there doesn't really seem to be much in terms of what's going to be the offering, out there. But it doesn't remove, and it doesn't diminish the fact that you do have these options that help you to be able to get your build to work in a specific way. Like if you're playing legendary, another thing about legendary missions is, the game continues to kind of evolve as you're going on. Like say, if you're playing Roosevelt Island on legendary, right? Once you make your way past this area, and the next area is basically where you're going to be fighting with these warhounds. And fighting with these warhounds kind of require for you to make some changes. You need to, at least have somebody with a jammer pulse so that they can actually, stun these, machines and be able to put them, at a little timeout for a little bit so that you can basically just, mow them down with, multiple bullets. So again, within your build, there will be different ideas and there will be different, measures that you can take that will probably allow for, a need to be able to implement some really interesting aspects to how you play, how you actually run things. And, that's what I think, this game actually does thrive from. It's able to basically allow for you to make your build in these paradigms, pick your choice, and then within missions, make modifications and adjustments that really do work for you. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about the RPG-esque nature of the Division 2? I know the Division 1 did have its own really interesting aspects to it, and we can actually explore that in a different video, because the Division 1, even though it wasn't necessarily too skill based in terms of when I mean skill, I'm not talking about how well you can play. I'm talking about our, skill proxies, the turrets and the seeker mines. We didn't have a drone in the Division 1, did I say revive hive? We had our little health box. I can't even remember the name. And we had our shields and some other things that really did resonate depending on how you use them. And the shield was actually more based on a different gear set. Yeah, it was a different time. Anyways, talk to me in the comment section. Let me hear your thoughts and on this particular aspect of the game. And hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.